Hello my friends and welcome to a first impressions on the Spanish DLC for Panzer Corps 2. This is literally a world first. It's going out the moment that it's allowed to go out. So, I don't know if you guys are aware or keeping up, but Panzer Corps 2 has at least 2 DLCs in the pipe, and this is one of them. And it adds the whole Spanish nationalist revolt, civil war to Panzer Corps 2, which is the 1936 to 1939 internal civil war. And if you don't know your history, Germany got involved in it, but they were not allowed to deploy troops on the ground, as it were, not in the strict sense, but instead supplied air support and I think some kind of mechanized support, etc. I'm not fully au fait on the history of it, but yes, this is that DLC which is coming out very, very soon. Now, normally in my first impressions, you know, I would talk about the gameplay and the game and all that kind of thing. But this really is, in my opinion, in a lot of ways, it's just another slice of Panzer Corps 2 cake. So if you really liked Panzer Corps 2, or if you just liked Panzer Corps 2, if you finished Panzer Corps 2 and you want more content, this is the DLC for you. Now, that's not to say that it is in any way identical to the Grand Campaign or the German campaign, because there are some, and you can read all this story obviously if and when you get the DLC. There are a few little changes which are quite interesting, so I'll just end the briefing and I'll go through them myself. So you will not have any infantry. If I go to purchase, then you will see that I will not be allowed to purchase any infantry. There's very limited actual armament that you're allowed to buy and deploy. So part of this is, I believe, that part of the plot is that it would undermine the Spanish if the Germans deployed infantry. So you are not allowed to deploy any. So if I click on Condor Legion, which is me, I have no infantry choices at all. And you will not get any, apart from, I think, like some kind of militia that you're allowed to get in a pinch. So the whole point is that you will be supporting the Spanish infantry divisions. Now, in this first mission, you can control them, but I believe in later missions, they'll pretty much be on a script to attack particular objectives by themselves. So you will need to, you'll really need to support the AI infantry while it pushes for you, because as you guys know, trying to remove enemy infantry from cities without infantry is extremely difficult. The other thing is that you'll get commendations for doing certain objectives. So here we've got these like dotted line objectives here. So if I open up the objectives panel, you'll see here that I have 2 bonus objectives. One is to hold this auxiliary airfield, and the other is to garrison 5 Seville hexes with Army of Africa units. And what those commendations will do is you can basically spend them for extra special heroes. Speaking of heroes, the enemy will now get hero units, and if you fail to kill them off, they'll come back to haunt you mission after mission. So basically there'll be some very tough uber enemy units out there that will attack you, and then after you smash them a bit, they'll try and retreat. And if they survive, then you're going to have to deal with them next turn, and the turn after that, and the turn after that, and that's just going to be painful. So that is... I'm sure I'm missing other changes, but you know, it's a fully featured campaign with a lot of effort that's gone into it. So if you really enjoyed the Grand Campaign, and you would like to get involved with a campaign that's actually a little bit different to the usual World War II fare, because I honestly, I can't remember the last time that, in fact I can't even remember any time that anyone bothered to tackle the Spanish Civil War in a video game. There must be a game out there somewhere that's at least touched on it, but I can't remember ever playing a TBS game that dealt with the Spanish Civil War. So, not saying that it's not out there, but I certainly don't remember it. So yeah, this is very nice. You know, funny thing about the beta, I actually, it's so cool how switched on the developers are to feedback, because I played the beta and all the aircraft, they looked really similar, so it was really hard to work out which aircraft was which. And you're going to be doing a lot of work with your aircraft because, you know, you're not allowed to deploy pretty much anything but artillery and aircraft and the odd tank and recon. And you know, they just look really great now. So it's obvious that what the different types are now. They've really stepped up the detail and the appearance, which is pretty cool. Right. So if you know anything about the history of what I'm doing right now, basically the Germans were in a big rush to get across before I think it's the Republican Spanish Navy sweeps in. I think it's the Republican Spanish Navy. The Germans sided with the nationalists, I believe, which I think it was a fascist government at the time. Which is, you know, what you would expect from fascist Germany. So yeah, I got a recon plane here, so that, you know, pretty simple. Scout across with the recon plane, identify enemy fighter. Shoot enemy fighter until he is paced. Oh, RNG got me there, and again, damn. This is normally why I play with the RNG slider set down to 10%. It always sucks to not win a fight because of multiple bad RNG rolls. But anyway, that is totally not a fair complaint because you can adjust it. What is that? 66th wagon. Is this actually a defenseless transport, or is it actually carrying something? No clue, but I'm going to torp it into paste. This area is defended by an anti-aircraft gun, so the obvious move is to soften the Spanish infantry. That was another low roll. Okay, that one was actually on par. I'm cursed when it comes to bad luck. Okay. Oh, the anti-aircraft gun came out to try and defend. Right, let's try and shut this boy down, shall we? Oh, that's my scout plane. I'm like, why can't it attack? Wrecked. Is he too far? Ah, he's actually too far away for me to attack. Can any of my torpors reach that? Yep. My dive bombers, I should say. What is this? This is like a swordfish or something. A swordfish is a British plane. I'm just 123A. I don't really know a huge amount about World War II aircraft, to be fair, especially ones that are effectively pre the main event of World War II, as it were. Why did I do that? That was highly dumb. So yeah, we're obviously gonna make this naval landing. There's a supply hex here, which is obviously being strategically placed so that you can get stuck in. There's another supply hex here with a supply dump on top of it. You can see what I'm doing here is I'm just actually trying to surround these boys and cut them off from their supplies. Which I can do because I am using the perimeter control trait. I think this infantry actually just tries to run away, so the safe way to protect this artillery would be to place it here and then place this here. I don't think that they'll return, but if they do, it'll be an easy kill for me. Okay, that's a nice little surround. Your priority obviously is to take this airport, because you're going to struggle to get any work done from this side. In the meantime, it's a rush to get across the strait before it's too late. Obviously, with the naval transports used, we can now get moving again. Okay, we'll send the scout plane across to just have a look at the area. Now you see, this is one of these hero tanks. And he's in a really good tank. If you know, he'll attack, and then after you do some damage to him, he'll try and escape. And if you don't deal with it, he'll be back. He'll be back again and again and again to make your life hell. So, you will definitely be rewarded by being aggressive. And trying to shut your enemy down. Oh, here he comes. But of course I can surround him, so that's not a problem. You'll notice here that these enemies are actually... this guy is trying to get out of the surround. So one thing that has really changed is they've actually done some work on the AI. And it does make a conscious effort to try and escape from being surrounded, which may take you by surprise. Oh, I low rolled. That's a really bad low roll as well. That was just the kind of low roll you didn't want to get. Man, I have like mostly low rolled. That's kind of brutal. I wanted to obviously destroy this and take the supply hex. Wow, he high rolled and I low rolled. Damn. RNG is being brutal today. I probably could have suppressed it with this, to be fair. Oh wow, that was a low roll too. Ha! Alright, now I've got them all surrounded. Let's go, boys. This is an anti-tank gun. I'm going to delete this guy. Alright, the airport is mine. That's an important win. I should be able to lock this guy in as well. Just as soon as I clear that area. Alright, boys. Get to the choppers. Not really to the choppers, but to the transport planes. Okay, with the airport captured, of course, we can now move our squadrons across. Okay, so we'll have to airlift our infantry over, but that is what happened historically, was that they were airlifted across. You see, like, he's actively trying to escape from the surround, which is not going to happen. I am not about to allow it. What is this range on this? 2, okay. Okay, he's out of range, sweet. So of course I will use my flexible command to make sure that this boy cannot go anywhere without my permission. Nice. And that's how you take care of heroes. You surround them and force them into a humiliating surrender. I wouldn't mind capturing that anti-aircraft gun as well. Oh my, I low-rolled again. What a pest. Well, I've successfully managed to not destroy that supply dump. Oh, right. Funnily enough, I actually wanted the low rolls there because the less damage I do, the more there is to capture. So that's quite pleasing, actually. Okay, there's an anti-aircraft gun defending this position. Of course there is. There's always an anti-aircraft gun. What I should have done is placed my recon plane on top of this. Then it wouldn't have been a problem. But not a big deal. We killed the all-important boss tank, which is useful. This guy is totally suppressed and cannot do anything. So yeah, the key now is to send your guys over. By loading them up in transport planes and sending them across. And you'll see that the Spanish Navy has now moved into position to make life unpleasant. No problem there. Okay, so there's not much we can actually do with our air support here because these fragile 1936 biplanes are not in any way capable of dealing with early anti-aircraft guns. But, you know, whatever damage you can get, you should get. The AI is much more aggressive about reinforcing as well. So just be aware. They can and they will constantly reinforce units. I was going to make sure that I land all my stuff because any units that are still in transports when this navy turns up, they're in for a bad time. They're in for a very bad time. So yeah, you can see, you know, now that we're landed and all that kind of thing, the basic idea, get your troops landed here. There's also an airport up here which you can, if you push up here, you can take it pretty quickly and just start landing your the later portions of your infantry. You know, get the 4 here down here, load these guys up and bring them up here, and just deploy them here straight away. Clean out this area, and then it's up to you what you want to do from there. But anyway, the Spanish DLC, obviously it's a full campaign. There's loads of missions to it. It's a very different feeling, I guess, when all of your units are rubbish and you haven't got any infantry. I guess they're really going for the, you know, the long drawn out fight that it kind of was. The only thing that I would say is that the Power 4 is still very, very strong. If you don't know what the Power 4 is, that's the 4 traits which I've taken here to demonstrate, which are Master of Blitzkrieg, Deadly Grasp, Flexible Command, and Perimeter Control. These 4 together allow you to do all these crazy captures. And these crazy captures can result in a lot of extra money. And they're also a relatively easy way to make prestige, basically. You can see in the early game here, the enemy have got a lot of reduced strength units as well. There are very much a lot of units that are unable to harm each other. There's just too much armor around. Obviously, you want to abandon the coast as quickly as possible, though, because constantly being harassed by a navy you can't do anything about is very irritating. Oh, right, that probably should have happened like eons ago. So yeah, the usual sensible behavior applies. Steal everything that's not nailed down. Maybe steal some things that are nailed down. And you know, plan ahead for a long campaign, because you're gonna be in this Spanish Civil War for quite some time. You don't have to steal everything either, but I'm just doing my best to demonstrate what I think is good play. Obviously, I could wait a few turns for this to suppress. But you don't want to be hanging down here for too long. So you see here that what you'll want to do is you'll want to slide around these artillery and take out this anti-aircraft gun, and then you can bring your dive bombers into play. And don't waste too much time, because you'll be counterattacked in due course. So we've actually reduced the anti-aircraft gun here to the point that it's actually not I was going to say, it's not going to be able to do any casualties, but I have low rolled again, so I guess it has managed to do some casualties. Nice, that was actually a high roll. Send in the fighters. Oh, the other ones can't reach, they're not quite far enough. I have to clear the airport so I can land my infantry. So as you can see, this is the basic idea. With the infantry landed, you are now in a position where you can actually push forward. And you can start to abandon this coastline. Once your troops are airborne, the Spanish Navy can't do anything about them, so get them loaded up and then get them out of here. And that's it. From this position, you should, I mean, you know, we've got like so many turns left. You should be able to sweep up. I should have protected this with fighters. But you can see it's very hard for units to kill each other at this sort of low-tech campaign. So it will take the combined effort of all three of your fighters to bring down, you know, one half-strength fighter in any reasonable length of time. But nevertheless, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. And you'll see here, look, the anti-aircraft gun's been reinforced. But now you have your African infantry. Look, you see they're going to make incredibly short work of this artillery. So infantry is going to be the primary way that you get things done. And you're also not going to have... you're not going to have many infantry. So it's kind of it's an interesting scenario. The trick here is to use the forced march ability, along with perimeter control to run past. And then we can get a lot of harm done to the enemy here. And of course I can just reinforce this. With the artillery mostly disabled, we can now get to work on these infantry. Once again, you know, you can just surround them, wait for being surrounded to slowly wear them out. Do your best to focus fire down enemy planes so that they cannot be reinforced, because the AI is just a lot more aggressive about reinforcing now. Whereas previously it wouldn't have been. So there's certainly plenty more to consider. Let's see if we can soften these boys up. Oh wow, I actually annihilated him. Sweet. So yeah, this is a fight that I don't necessarily need to take against this infantry. But, you know, if you're feeling under pressure turn-wise, you can really force the issue. This Army of Africa infantry is actually pretty strong. Okay, so, I mean, if you like Panzer Corps 2, you're almost certainly going to like this. If you didn't like Panzer Corps 2, I don't see this DLC changing your mind any. But there is certainly an interesting new campaign to be had here with a bit of a different spin. Especially since with no infantry of your own, you're not going to be spamming pioneers to take every city. So, and from what I've seen of the missions, there's a much stronger narrative running through them, as well as there are debriefings at the end of each mission. So, you know, you do get a taste for the history of the war, you know, as it progresses. There's just more of a cast of characters. And as I said, with commendations you can buy new superheroes, which are, I believe they all reference historical aces and other, you know, I don't know what the right wording is, but, you know, people who got famous during the war for their exploits. So yeah, there's, you know, there's some definite interest to be had there. It is certainly going to be very interesting to fight a ground war with, just by supporting an AI and enabling it to take cities and all that kind of thing for you. I think that might put some people off who really want full control of everything that they're doing. But you know, it's interesting. It's interesting to me. It's interesting gameplay. You know, learning how to cope with or best exploit an AI partner and get them to do what I want. So there's certainly a lot to consider there. But that is it for now. So I hope you found this interesting. I believe that the DLC will be out on the 16th, but don't quote me on it. So it's a little while yet until it's out. However, if you bought the Field Marshal edition, then you will get it early. I think the 8th, but once again, don't quote me on it. So that is it for now. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you're a big fan of Panzer Corps 2, then this DLC is for you. And if you didn't find Panzer Corps 2 to be that interesting, then I don't think that this DLC is really going to change your mind. But this is the kind of game that you know whether you like it or not. And if you like it, then you're going to like this. And if you don't like it, then I don't think you're going to like... you're going to like any DLC, to be fair. You know, this is the sort of game that hasn't really... You know, hand on heart, if we're honest, it hasn't changed in 20 years, 25 years, you know, since Panzer General. I think you can pretty much know what to expect. I mean, yeah, it's beautifully modern. It's, you know, it looks fantastic. You can put all camo on your dudes and you can zoom right in and everything's very pretty and, you know, etc, 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 but I don't feel like the gameplay of these kind of games has really changed much in 30 years, 25 years, however long it's been since Panzer General came out. But it's a very enjoyable kind of gameplay for me, and I'm sure for many other people. And if you're looking for a campaign that's going to be hard, I think the Spanish campaign is quite hard. I think it's pretty much intended for people who have completed the standard German campaign first, and this is here to test your mettle a little bit and to be something a bit interesting and different. So if you haven't played Panzer Corps 2 at all, then I can't really recommend this yet. I can recommend Panzer Corps 2, so go and get that first. And then consider, having finished that, whether you want to get this. But that is really it for now. I'm done saying everything I want to say. I think, yeah, I'm done. So I will see you guys next time.